What is up, guys? It's your boy Ed from Savij. What we're gonna do today is that I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna go ahead and rant a little bit about what our future ban list could be, about what cards could get hit, about what cards can come back. It's just a little bit of what I believe, just a little bit of my personal, opinion. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. Just tell me why you don't agree with me, what cards you think that are definitely gonna come back or definitely not gonna get hit or definitely gonna get hit. Whatever it is that you guys are on, put me on that because I definitely want to know. But let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, before we continue with this video, go ahead and take a break real quick to check out my boy Apollo Dueling Dojo's work. I think he has some of the nicest custom mats that I've seen out in a while. He makes some crazy nice rubber mats, and he of course has some amazing glitter field centers. These are what I call the glitter field centers. I've actually been rocking my Alistair mat, and I've been rocking my Alistair field centers for a minute at my locals, and people just so happen to think that I might be playing Alistair that day, or they just ask me, hey man, do you like Alistair? Yes, I do. So if you guys have a favorite archetype out of all of them, make sure you guys go check it out from Apollo's Dueling Dojo and pick it up. He has all the nicest mats and all the nicest field centers for your favorite archetype. Thank you, guys. And let's go ahead and continue with this video. All right, guys. So I do want to start off with a couple of cards that I actually sat down and I wrote on my tablet that I wanted to talk about. The other cards, I kind of just want to let them come out by themselves, and it's not scripted right now. That's what I'm trying to say. But first of all, I think that unbanning Harp Horror would be actually a great idea. I think that the meta is super flexible, super undefined. Of course, you got the top two decks, which are, Dryton and Tri-Brigade, right? But it doesn't mean that those decks can't lose to other decks right now, which is actually the coolest thing about, the current meta that we have going on. I'm actually really comfortable with the meta is. I'm actually really comfortable with just going to locals and playing just some rando decks sometimes, and still doing fairly well, as you guys may know, I've currently been playing Magnite Invoked, and I've had pretty good success with it. We actually went to the 3v3, and out of my team, I'm the only person who only lost once with my deck, so I thought it was pretty cool. Kind of carried the team there, you already know. But Magnite Invoked being not a meta deck or a tier 1 deck currently, still kicking butt, So with that said, I think that Harp Horror having its time to come back to the meta, to the game, I don't believe that would make the deck meta. I think the deck would definitely be a very viable rogue option, and I think that's kind of what we need right now to really just continue impacting the current meta or the current way that people play, because I really like the matter of fact that a lot of people pull up with just really rogue decks and they do really well. Like my buddy Cameron pulled up with Phantom Knights and he did well with the deck. I pulled up with Magnite Invoked, of course, Dragon Link doing its thing again or whatever. There are a lot of other rogue decks like Prank Hits and Guru decks and Paleo Frogs and whatever, right? I think that Oricas can definitely be one of those decks that can take a rogue spot and make a lot of the people really happy. I know that people really like Oricas, and therefore I think that Harp Horror coming back to at least one would definitely not be an issue, and I think that it would really make the people happy. Continuing to Colossus, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Colossus and how the prices of the card have been skyrocketing, and if you own an OT, get rid of it now because it's gonna be the most expensive card right now or whatever. Like, that's super cool or whatever, but personally, I'm not a big fan of the Thunder Dragon deck or Colossus itself. I used to play True Dracos, as you guys already know, but yeah, I did used to get my butt whooped by, Thunder Dragons a lot. So I'm not too happy, but I think that Colossus coming back to one would actually make the people very happy. And I think that keeping the people happy is actually kind of something what you want to do. Of course, it's not always going to be 100% given to the people. I understand that. I understand how Konami maybe wants to, how they want to run it or whatever, but that's super cool. I mean, if they actually do give us Thunder Dragon Colossus back, because I think that Colossus can easily be impermed, or it can easily get, you know, taken off of the field, or whatever you're gonna do, right? So Thunder Dragon Colossus to 1, and it can be an engine for a lot of other decks. You know, it doesn't just have to be a Thunder Dragon deck, right? So I believe so. So I would definitely recommend for Colossus to come back. I think that's a cool option. We're gonna continue with Masterpiece. You guys already know I am terribly sorry, but I want Masterpiece back. I understand that the popping effect for destroying a card on the field is a quick effect. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. The crazy thing is that there's so many decks that, you know, can completely beat you with either spells or traps or monsters, and Masterpiece can only be unaffected by 2 of those. It's not like he can be unaffected by all 3 and he's super OP and overpowered, can be beaten or whatever. Like, no, you could definitely kaiju him, lava golem him if I do have another monster, whatever the situation is. You can definitely get rid of Masterpiece very easily. It's just, I feel like people are stuck in the way of how it used to be back in the day. So personally, I believe that Masterpiece is a card that can come back. I mean, like, at least at 1. I don't think the deck is doing all that great right now because Diagram isn't around. So personally, like I said, this is all my opinion. With Diagram being at 1, Masterpiece can for sure be at 1. Unless you want to give us Diagram back to 3, then you can definitely keep Masterpiece. I mean, like, you see, like, there's that whole thing, you know. We also don't have, you know, Knuckles, you know, my boy, the Green Draco. He's at 1, and I'm just saying, I don't think the deck is where it used to be. It's definitely still playable. It's definitely still viable. My boy Jason pilots it really well. He goes to locals. He tops. He does really well with it. And he goes, when he used to go to regionals with it, even without Masterpiece, he used to do well. So I think that it's a deck that people want to play, people want to see. Maybe not the opponent wants to see, but the people want to play it and people want to have it out there. So I think that Masterpiece coming back to 1 would definitely be a great, you know, movement to keep the people happy. Another deck that I think that would be cool to have a card back in their deck would definitely be Emancipators with Block Dragon. I think that Block Dragon is a card that is actually really good at 1, but I mean, like, it not being at 3 is more than fair. If we bring it to 1, I think the deck is going to be able to be good enough to where people will play it and people will have fun with it again. I don't know. I've been playing a lot of rogue decks. I've been playing a lot of decks for a while, and I think that some of these decks are decks that made me happy to play. It's not like I'm asking for, like, Lunalight Tiger to come back to 3 or something. You know, like, it's something that people will have fun with, play rogue, and enjoy it, right? I think that definitely at Emancipators is super underrated, and with Block Dragon back to 1, it would definitely be kicked back up higher on the rogue chart. I'm sorry, but a lot of people don't really seem to want Block Dragon back, so they're kind of in the splits right now. I've talked to a lot of people who do, I talked to a lot of people who don't, so I don't know. I personally believe that Block Dragon should definitely come back to 1 so I can go back to enjoying at Emancipators. That's just me though. We're gonna go ahead and continue for the last card that I believe that should come back is Maxi. I think Maxi is it's a definite good card and I believe that it should come back to 3. That's my thing. I think I'm one of those people who think that we should have Maxi at 3. I don't understand why we don't. That's just me though. But I think the Maxi should definitely be a card that should always be spoken about in every Banlist prediction, in every Banlist video done by anybody ever. Because Maxi is a very debatable card. A lot of people don't want it. A lot of people want it. I think that it should come back. I think it is a good card. But I mean, like, maybe somebody can do the Maxi challenge and see what happens. But yeah, those are some of the cards that I think that should definitely come back from the Banlist. Now, I want to talk about some of the other current best decks, top decks that we have out in the meta. And it doesn't just have to revolve around like Dryton and Tribegate, right? But we are going to start off with those decks. For Tribegate, it's a little tricky, you know. They've tried to kind of like hinder the Tribegate deck with, you know, getting Dryton banned or whatever. I actually thought Dryton was going to be a monster that was going to actually go back to 3. that was just me personally. I don't think that he's going to come back, but what we're talking about right now is about cards that should actually get hit in that deck for that deck to probably be a little bit more balanced. I think the deck is actually a little OP, and I think the deck does a little too well at locals. I go to one locals where it's like, what, like 3 out of the 4 top decks in the final top 4 cut Trivigate or something. Like, I go to another locals where it's like 3 out of the 4 dry toss, right? So for Trivigate, I really believe that we should definitely have Tanky go to 1. It's a walking Rhoda, and it can literally search out whatever they want. It's literally going to search them whatever they want. So having a Rhoda for a deck that is actually like the best deck right now, it's kind of wild. I mean, like, I don't want to say that 100% because, I mean, like, Fossil Dig, yeah, but what can I really search out with Fossil Dig, right? Like, there isn't really a lot of targets that you can currently search, or, you know, it's also not a deck that is currently being the best deck in the meta. So I think that's the reason why you can debate whether Tanky should definitely go to 1 or not. Personally, I think it's either 1 or 2. I don't really want it at 2. I would prefer it at 1, and it should not be at 3. That's just me though. But I think that hitting Tanky to 1 and also hitting Revolt, their trap card, to 1 would actually make the deck a little bit more balanced, because the way that I see my buddy play the deck, Charlie, he plays it a little different. If he opens up Revolt, which he is playing 3 of, he goes with a different combo route where he would end on the Simorg and the Barrier Statue. If he doesn't, he has to go through the other route, which is where I see a lot of more people play through, which is the Fair Jet, the Bear Bloom, where they end on, for sure, the trap card in their hand. And I think cutting that option off for them should definitely be the way to go, to where I believe that they shouldn't have the ability to choose whether or not. I think it should definitely be a 1 straight path deck where it's just like, you got to do the Fair Jet, the Bear Bloom combo so you can get the trap. Or, I mean, like, if you open it and it's a 1 of, then that's it, right? I also think that a lot of people have been talking about hitting Imperial Order, you know, IO, and I don't understand why. Personally, I believe IO, Skill Drain, are floodgates that are mandatorily necessary to be in the game at 1, at least 1. I mean, like, you don't want to ask me how I feel about other floodgates, because, you know, I am a true Draco player, like Vanity's Emptiness, neither player can special summon. Bruh. Like, if that was a thing, I would definitely like that card to come back. But I think that these are necessary evils in the game for people to be able to play, because it's just a 1 card, anybody can play it. I think it's a thing that where if you have the ability to play it, or you can play it, you should definitely play it. It's like a Call by the Grave, right? You have Call by the Grave at 1, and I don't think Call by the Grave should ever come back to 3, for the reason being that Call by the Grave is actually stupidly busted. If we definitely get Crossout Designator soon, which hopefully we do, I think Call by the Grave should definitely stay at 1. Personally, that's just me. It's my personal opinion. Call by the Grave at 1, whatever. IO should definitely stay at 1. These are all cards that are 1-ofs that should just be out there for the people to be able to use and play. Continuing with Dryton. I think it's a little heavy because I've heard people talk about Beatrice, people talk about Eva. Eva being that 1 card that really helps you get through your fairies and get them into your hand and do whatever you need to do. Stupid. It's busted. I hate it. Eva should definitely be a card that should go to 1. I don't think it should get banned. I think that it's a necessary evil for their game, for their play, for their strategy. Beatrice already being at 1, I don't think it should get hit. It's a card that a lot of people could definitely play in other decks, which they do. BA, of course. But it just so happens to be that it's a card that is currently being abused in one of the best decks. But I don't think that that's a necessary. I don't think that's enough for me to be like, let's ban Beatrice. You see? I think that Beatrice is not the problem. I think that Eva should definitely be the problem that should be fixed. I think maybe hitting some of the Dryton monsters to 2s, because one of the things that I've heard a lot of Dryton players talk about is that they want to see or they want to play more Dryton names. And it's just like, all right, I'm gonna go from a 2 to a 3, and it's just like, all right, yeah, now you definitely opened up a hand with Drytons, right? I mean, like, I wouldn't know which one specifically to hit just yet, but for sure, you know, some of the Dryton monsters can definitely go to 2, so then like that they can still continue playing the deck and it doesn't get completely destroyed or killed or whatever. Eva going to 1, Beatrice staying at 1. These are all little hits that I think that should be done to the deck, where the deck is still going to be enjoyable. I have 2 or 3 friends that play, you know, Drytons, including, of course, my buddies from Scrub Gaming. You already know Miles, Austin, Corey. Those are some of the best Dryton players that I know, including my boy Bren. So I think that the deck is good. I think that it should just get slowed down a little bit, but I don't think the deck should get killed. Continuing on to some of the other decks that I've seen out in the meta, I've seen people talk about like the Dangers coming back to 3. No. I've seen some people talking about Mystic Mind getting hit. No. There's a lot of things that I've heard, I've seen, you know, conversated with people about. I don't think Mystic Mind's an issue. If you lose to Mystic Mind, you should definitely rearrange your deck to where you play back row hate. You shouldn't just outright lose to a Mystic Mind. Like, it doesn't make sense. People still talk about the Invoke deck. I don't understand why people can't just get over the fact that Invoke is an engine, a deck that people play that isn't always necessarily good. I, of course, pull up to locals top and do well with it sometimes, but then other times I outright just get destroyed. And then I get freaking mollywopped. And then I just don't do anything. There's times where I go undefeated with Magnite Invoked, and then there's times where I just go X2 by round 2. You see, like, I think it has to be about who your opponents are, what they're playing, and that's basically it. Like, I really want to discuss more cards. I really want to see what else you guys believe and think that should be hit. Meltdown is not a card that I think that should get hit. Alistair, much less. Invocation, for sure not. Mystic Mind, I don't believe it. You see, there's just a bunch of cards that, you know, that people want to kill or want to bring back. I've also heard people wanting to bring back Miscellaneous Swords. I would love for Miscellaneous Swords to come back, but no, I don't think it's gonna happen because it just got hit. Why would it come back right away? It's like if I said Trident is coming back in the next Banlist. Why would it? I don't understand. It's like, if they do it, they're gonna look as ridiculous as whenever they put Mali back to 3 and then back to 2. What? Like, I just don't get it. They can't do stuff like that. I think it's dumb. But, you know, there's a lot of options out there. There are a lot of decks, and I would love for there to be more decks. Engage being another card that I believe people were talking about. It's gonna go back to 3. It's not. You guys got lucky that you got it at 1. Now shut the fuck up and move on with your day. Not a big fan of Sky Striker. What else came back? Stalio came back. Stalio can definitely come back to 3. Doesn't mean people are going to play it at 3. There are cards out there that are out, you know, 1-ups or 2-ups that technically really don't fucking matter. Like, they could just be at 1 or they can be at 3 and it's still only going to be played at 1. Stalio is a card that I believe that should definitely come back to 3, just so they can say that it's not on the ban list. Because it's not going to get played at 3. People will recycle it, put it back, and use it again next turn. And then they can't use any other effect that isn't a fire monster effect. Whatever, right? It's cool, fine, dandy, chilling. You're moving on. It doesn't matter. I've destroyed people that are playing Salads, and I've gotten destroyed by people who are playing Salads. I think the deck is good. I think the deck is very balanced currently. And I think that Stalio wouldn't make a difference. Stalio barely made a difference, and I still believe it, and I still stand by it. I still think that Stalio made almost no difference in the game. But now people are just happy to have it back. And I think sometimes you just got to make the people happy. Guys, I'm sorry for the small rant that I had. Now I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the opinions that I had, some of my personal feelings about certain cards. If you guys don't feel the same way, that's perfectly fine. I'm only a couple subs away from 800, so if you guys, you know, appreciate the content, like the content that I make, please subscribe to the channel. I would definitely like to continue doing this, and I would definitely like to reach the goal of 1,000 before the end of the year. Super happy, super excited, and we got a lot of content coming through. We got a lot of deck profiles from people at locals, from the team, and whatnot, right? We're working on a lot of new crazy stuff. We also got people working on insect stuff. We got people working on water stuff. We got people working on a lot of different things. And I would definitely like to bring that content out to you guys as soon as possible. Help me reach that goal of 800, and let's get to 1,000 right after that. Thank you guys for watching. This was your boy Ed from Elite Savij. Signing out. Masterpiece coming back. I'm telling y'all.